Hey folks, Leader here once again. Welcome back to another video. I hope you enjoyed my, as of now y'all know I'm doing my superhero marathon on my channel. I've been on the 90s. I've been talking about The Flash, the 1990 TV series, which I did a TV show collection video. I also reviewed a pop. If you guys want to check that out. And also today I'm doing, in this video, I'm doing my thoughts / favorite episodes of The Flash, the 1990 TV series. So, yeah, that's what this video is going to be called. Starring John Wesley Shipp, and this is the original show before the CW show came out, before we had, Ezra Miller, and now, of course, the Flash movie. This was way before all that. This is like his first, live-action appearance, I guess you can say. But I know I used to do this. I haven't done this in a while with Gotham, but if y'all remember, I write the episodes down, my favorites, and I have some okay ones that I wasn't a big fan of. But I did enjoy watching this show. Rewatching this show again, it was fun. Yeah, this is an underrated show. Definitely still better than a lot of the seasons of The Flash, including, obviously, better than season 4, 5, 6, and pretty much the rest of them. But I would say, I do like the 3 seasons of The Flash, the 2014 show, but not so big on the rest of the seasons after that, But I would say this show is still better, in my opinion. And, I'm not saying that on nostalgia. I did not grow up with the show. I just feel the show did something better, was better with The Flash. It's not perfect. It has its problems. Some of it, is a bit dated, but still I think it holds up, That's just my opinion. But anyway, I'll be getting to my episodes here. So remember, this is just my opinion. And I do it with my pen, of course. So first up, I'm going to start on my favorites. The first one is watching the detectives. So I have my phone, of course, with me. This is where, of course, Barry has been the Flash now. He has this woman who is an undercover agent or whatever. Well, not an agent. She's like a private eye. Or a reporter, you can say, named Madeline Or she gets hired probably by District Attorney Thomas Galito, who works for a mob boss. And basically, she's been trying to narrow down who the Flash is. She's been, following other cops, trying to find out the Flash is. And then even as she comes up to Barry, she even goes undercover in a restaurant to get away from him. And of course this lawyer, he wants control. He's good, but he's a dirty DA. He's crooked, and he wants control. He wants control over the mafia, for the big boss to do what he says. So he can be the big boss, basically. But she starts following Barry, puts cameras, and she finds it suspicious at first, because Barry is just a forensics expert, but he seems to be gone half the time. So she's kind of wondering about him. She puts a camera in his apartment and sees Barry using his super speed, and finds out that he's the Flash, and goes to the DA about this. He said, "Oh, Barry, I know you're the Flash. Come on." And Barry denies it at first. He's like, "I'm sure you're a dog." He pulls a grenade, pulls a pencil, can't catch it. And his dog, was about to catch a grenade, but Barry uses super speed. He's like, "All right, Barry, now that I have you under control, this is what you're going to do for me. And you're going to do what I say." Or, he's going to expose him to the mafia, his identity to the world, basically. So Barry pretty much is under his control. He wants to bring legalized gambling to Central City. Barry does somewhat do this. I like it when he goes to the bar. Not the bar, but goes to the casino. He uses his super speed to win a few games. And they get tired of him. They tell him, "You're leaving now." And like the moment where Barry, starts to play Final Trick, where he gets the, where, using his super speed, he's able to make everybody win the whole night. So, being the Flash, he can win a lot of money with his powers, But anyway, he goes to Megan Lockhart and tells her, "Thank you for what you did." She's like, "Well, there's something wrong with you. You're crazy in the head. You're a cop. Wearing a mask is illegal." He's like, "I do it to protect the ones I love. That's why I keep my secret. That's why I use my powers, That's why I wear the mask, because it's appropriate, They have this conversation, and she realizes that she even thinks Barry's crazy at first to do what he does, but she understands as soon as she finds out about this lady who's been cheating. This lady chose to kill these people who are, tries to shoot her husband or whatever, and Barry stops her as the Flash, and Megan Lawler can see why he does what he does now, why he uses his powers for good. But she decides to help Barry eventually. They do team up, and Barry's able to stop them as the Flash. Flash knocks him out, and Toledo tries to get away. He says, "Barry, I'm gonna tell the whole world about you, so you can't kill me. I know you won't. You can't do that." But instead of when DA turns his engine on, the car blows up. But and him and Megan Lawler become friends at the end. Then you can see they even share a kiss or start a relationship throughout the series. But at the end, though, his car was rigged because so that the Bob office doesn't really want the DA telling him what to do. But she gives Barry the evidence at the end, protecting his identity as the Flash. And you say they're now friends. But Washington Detectives, that was a very good episode. Alright, next is Honor Among Thieves. Master Thief Stan Kovacs, him and his team in the beginning, they're going to rob this store or whatever, or this, well, before they do anything, they come up with these cops, and the cops are saying, "What you got in the car?" And it's like a bomb or whatever. The guy kills the cop, this guy shoots the cop, they kill the cops. It's this mask called Rasputin from this museum. You found out, Museum of Natural History in Central City. So, I can't fucking speak Central City, I'm sorry. And, Barry, he knew the professor when he was a teenager, and him and the professor had a falling out. And he also has another assistant, this woman, spoiler alert, he found out is working with the bad guys. This whole team of group, preparing to steal this. They commit these string of robberies, but of course, Barry as the Flash is able to, stop them. This lady almost tells, "Oh, Flash, I see if you can get out of there." She puts these lasers out. So Barry, is able to go on top, and Flash is able to go up on top and get her. And this one guy, tries to hold these people hostage, but Flash grabs his gun, unloads it, "You can't do anything without this," and then knocks him out. But you find out that the bad guy is really using his accomplices as a front to steal this relic. They're about to escape with the artifact. Barry has a bit of a fight with the guy. He throws a spear at Flash. Hits him, right here. He just, but he's able to get back up, tie him in a rug, just tie him up real quick and just, take him out. And the professor faces the lady. She's like, "Get out of my way," by pointing out Barry. Shows up. He's like, arrest her. He's like, "Get my doctor." But I do like the moments here Barry does have a talk with his professor, about old times. Well, there's also, a joke throughout with these two cops, Bellows and I forget the other name, Murdoch. No, not Murdoch. Murphy and Bellows, they're like the funny cops. They always "Oh, I saw the Flash. Oh, the Flash isn't real." And then he thinks Murphy might be the Flash. And they go throughout the series, which is pretty funny. But I like seeing Barry, go up against these bad guys, and stop them. That was cool. Yeah. So that was Honor Among Thieves. Another favorite of mine is called Sins of the Father. I like this episode. His father's played by Emmett Walsh. I can't say his name right. I've seen him in a couple of movies, but Harry and the Hendersons, he was in that. He played John Lithgow's dad in that movie. And he was in Free Willy too, the Adventure Home. His father, of course, you have this man named John Ray Hicks. Hicks gets out of prison. Apparently his father, who was a cop, but Dad's retired, his father, Henry, arrested him 15 years prior. He escapes out of jail and plots revenge, plots to kill his dad, because eventually, Henry gets a call at his house from Hicks telling him that he's going to kill him, but he doesn't tell his wife or Barry, and Barry's, of course, there. The next thing you know, the house gets shot out. Barry sneaks away from his parents and uses super speed to chase the car, but there's nobody in it. Then he starts questioning his dad, who is this? He's like, he didn't tell him because he didn't want them to worry. He even tries to talk to a little friend of his about trying to go after Hicks. His dad even tries to question some bar owners about it. Even shoots out the jukebox machine. Mickey's being known to a flash comes, of course, to save him. Even though he doesn't know it's Barry. But, eventually his dad has to stay with him. And he's like, I gotta stay with a forensic expert, him and his father had a complicated relationship because he was never like Jay. Barry, was a forensic expert and his father's always putting him down for it, so they have this complicated relationship. He loves his son, he just is a bit harder on him. And then this episode explores that. Make sure to talk to Barry, but Barry's like, no, and then they, have a bit talk. And I like seeing, that him and his father team up. Well, his friend gets killed by Hicks, by this guy, and they go out to get him. And he almost even goes to Barry's apartment. I like to go when they're meeting with Tina, and he goes, Tina McGee, of course, is a doctor who knows that Barry's the Flash. Earl, his dog, Earl, tries to get his Flash clothes, and he's trying to hide before his dad sees it. And he's terrible at cooking dinner, he burns the dinner. I thought that was funny. But, I'm sorry, I go over my videos. But anyway, his dad also, they almost get shot at by Hicks, but Barry shows up. He has these other guys working for him. But I really like the moment when him and his dad team up, and Barry does this nice, kills this one guy. Of course, does be the Flash, and since Hicks almost killed his dad, Hicks is knocked out, and Barry, is on top of him, really just beating him up, beating the hell out of the guy, almost ready to kill Hicks. Just like, Barry, stop. He's like, I know what you want to do. You want to kill him, son, but don't do it. And him and his, and of course Hicks goes back to jail, and him and his dad, Henry Allen, they make amends. So I like the whole father-son story here in the episode. That was good. But since the father, definitely one of my favorite episodes of this show, I'm liking. Alright, and another favorite of mine is called Shroud of Death. This is where you have this lady who, an assassin, I guess you can call her. She's killing these people. She lives in a number of churches or whatever. They get murdered. You found out that this man was arrested who was a criminal, and you found out it was he got the death penalty, and his daughter's angry about it, so she starts trying to kill him, and Lieutenant Garfield was the one who arrested him, so she tries to save him from life, but Garfield is also in this relationship with this woman, and he pops the question, but she gets shot nearly. She doesn't die, but she does get injured, and this makes Garfield angry enough to want to go, kill her. I do like it though when Barry becomes the Flash and questions this guy about helping her. He nearly is like, oh, you just saved him? And he, uses super speed to break it apart almost. Yeah. But of course, Angel, I think there was a name Angel. Sorry. Yeah, Angel, she kills the guy, I guess, because he was just loose into her. And of course, she prepares to go up to Garfield, gets close to killing him, but thanks to, the Flash's help. And she also, he's like, okay, arrest me. He's like, go ahead, shoot me, And then, Flash tells Lieutenant Garfield, don't do this. You're a cop. This is a murder. You can't do this. He's like, it's wrong. Look at her. She's just dead inside. Don't be like her. lieutenant. You know, even though Garfield doesn't trust the Flash because Flash to him is a vigilante who wears a mask, doesn't know it's his, you know, his, yeah, I work for him, his lab assistant Barry, but, you know, yeah. But I liked an episode about Lieutenant Garfield, so those are episodes about the characters, and I like Lieutenant Garfield, yeah, he's a bit of a, you know, Garfield's a bit of a hard ass, but he's a good character. He does care about his department, and he's good to his cops, you know, cares about his city. But, yeah, but his girlfriend maybe does, you know, get that together. Also, the other episode, Julio sees that Barry using his abilities, thinking he's the Flash, until Barry is like, plays like, there's the Flash, and then Barry, you know, does the run as the Flash, and is like, whoa, I saw that Julio, was like, oh, I'm sorry, Barry, I thought it was you. And him, you know, like, he almost found out. And then the episode ends with Garfield marrying his girlfriend. Yeah, but really good episode, in my opinion. Alright. Another favorite of mine is called Ghost in the Machine episode. This episode, God, I can't talk. Video to my How come I can't talk, folks? Can't talk today, can I? But Ghost in the Machine. This episode starts in 1955 in Central City, where you have a character called the Nightshade, a superhero. Well, like the Flash, he wears this mask. It's like a goggle mask or whatever. Wears a cloak and dagger. He has guns. Well, it's just a dark gun just to shoot bad guys and knock them out. And his name was Desmond Powell, who, of course, the guy was in the military. And the actor that plays him, I've never seen too many movies, but I remember seeing him in Liar Liar. He was the judge in that. If you remember the judge in Liar Liar starring Jim Carrey. Yeah. But anyway, he goes up against a character called the Ghost, who wants to control TV and all that stuff. You know, kind of take over the city by using their power against them. But thankfully Ghost stops him. I mean, Nightshade stops Ghost, destroys his machine, but Ghost goes away. He puts himself in hibernation for... Yeah. He's believed to have died. So, he doesn't really come back till 1990, so he wakes up a decade late. But when he comes back, he sees that the machines are now, and he sees his girlfriend, but she's like older now. His friend who's from the past, who was like older. Yeah. Pretty much, you know, Desmond owns the hospital, Dr. Powell. He owes the city for ransom. And Powell, you know, says return back into action. You know. He tries to face the ghost of his man, but of course he's no match because he's older now. And Ghost faces his hibernation. He'd be older too, but he's pretty much young the way he was back in 1955. But he's like, oh, you're just an old man. He gets hurt, but the Flash helps him out. And the Flash wants to talk to him. They have a bit of a chat. So the Flash, you know, lets that he can help an older superhero out. But he blows his radio to stop the power grid. Flash, you know, knocks the Ghost out, you know, just knocks lights out. Chuck Levitar was like, you know, talk about his old superhero days, where he didn't have these abilities, he just had to do the old cloak and dagger like this. And Flash is ready to take off his mask, like, no, you don't need the trouble. You know. But he did meet him as Barry Allen. He just wants to protect his secret. Yeah. But it was nice to see an old superhero teaming up with the Flash. So, that was cool. You know. The Ghost in the Machine, good episode in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Sight Unseen. In the beginning of this episode, you have Barry and Tina, you know, just talking tonight and maybe going out to eat, but her boss, who was just a mean old bitch, literally mean one. But anyway, there was talk with this character named Brian Gein, who was invented this machine or ability to whatever to turn invisible. So he puts this nerve toxin in a gas, and Charles Evans shuts Charles Labs down, so her and her boss get stuck there trying to survive. Barry's able to reach her, but he can't go in the building as the Flash because the building's wired. If he tries to, it will blow up the building or will kill him himself, end up killing himself. Barry flashes with Jack Glenn, who was the federal agent. He tries to, get out of my way, Alan. But you find out that Gwen, of course, has been helping getting out or whatever, something like that. But eventually, Flash, at the end though, Flash is, Barry's able to defeat the guy, even though he can't see him, they're able to take him down. It's like a belt he's got to make him disappear. And then when this Detective Glenn, gets caught, he gets fired and arrested. And he's like, oh, Lieutenant Gwen, the Flash wants to thank you. Tease him at the end. But he saves Tina and Ruth, who are nearly dead, almost dead. Getting in, then he gets arrested. Yeah. But overall, silent scene, really good episode. Sorry if I forget things a little bit. It's just been probably like last week. We gotta watch this episode. And then another favorite of mine is called Beat the Clock. This is where Julio, who is a friend named Wayne Cortell, who's a famous jazz musician or whatever, gets in charge with murdering his wife. The woman that plays his wife in this episode, I'm not going to leave the actor's name, but she has been in superhero movies before. She's in Black Panther, and of course Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. She plays T'Challa's mother, the Queen of Wakanda. And she was in this episode. She plays this singer named Linda Lake, who, she was murdered. He is accused of it, and he's going to get he's going to get the death penalty, get the electric chair. And he really spends the episode stressed out, and I like that the episode was about him. He really is a very, very friend, and he works with him, of course, his co-worker. He tries to hook him up with dates and stuff. But I like that they did something with him, gave him an episode. Yeah. But Julio's trying to, talks to, Wayne's brother, Elliot, who you find out Elliot actually did this, but some spoilers is that you find out Linda Lake is alive, that they keeping her captive or whatever. He wanted to ruin his brother's life out of jealousy. And that his enforcer, an ex-warlord and singer named Whisper, who whispers? But it's a big guy, he can take on the Flash, and he kicks Julio's ass. The Flash is able to take him down. Gets these, I don't know, something you put on the tower. Yeah, he grabs both of them and hit them in the head. But instead they ended up murdering another woman, just to make a love on his body. It was a fixed car accident. Barry, Flash carries her to the system, carries Linda, saying that she's still alive, that he didn't do it. And once the police find out that Wayne did this, his brother Elliot did this, Elliot ends up going to jail. But, I like the Julio of the episode who wants to keep Barry on his feet, Barry can't really show him his identity as the Flash. who even has the argument with Garfield. But but at the end though, his friend, who was almost like his brother to him, his life gets saved at the end. And Linda is back to life. Linda and him are together singing, and he's doing his jazz. So, but good, really good episode. Really enjoy this one. Yeah, but that was Beat the Clock. And another favorite of mine is called The Trickster. This is where you have Megan Lockhart come back, and of course she plays Jesse James Montgomery, or Jesse James is of course Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, who will also, I guess you can say almost 2 years later after this, or a year later after this, or whatever, would go on to voice the Joker, and that was also DC, because Flash is DC, so it was Batman, of course, and he would go, but here he plays Jesse James, who is a serial killer with multiple personalities. He's crazy. He kidnaps Megan Lockhart, and of course Barry calls her. She calls Barry because she knows he's the Flash again. Remember, she protected the secret, and he's about to cut her in half, literally. He's like, "Oh, what this disbeliever?" And he plays it so crazy, he's got the costume here. I just like how, his eyes glow like this. Mark Hamill does that so well, being playing crazy. But Jesse James is like, she's the love of my life. She's gonna be my sidekick. And he's like obsessed with Megan. So he kills these cops. He typically get out of the same to shoot them. And he's like, now they face the Trickster. Yeah. And of course, Trickster, plays these pranks, Freddy does some pranks, he's going to play on Flash. He tries to bomb in the middle of the city. Flash has to stop it. Flash tries to, using super speed, tries to chase him down, but Trickster put these pointy little knives or whatever, not knives, but pointy sharp balls on the road with his Trickster-mobile. Yeah. But he wants her to become, Prank, his sidekick. But the police are having a costume ball. Like I said, Bellows believes that Murphy is the Flash. He was just as bad as the Flash. Of course he's not, but that's the joke of it. But, thankfully Megan and he does kidnap Megan. She does wear this prank suit. But you see her on through the episode, wanting to make out. Well, they do this. But, before that, Barry's like in his, she's like sleeping upstairs in his room, and he's on the couch, and she's using super speed, just huzzing around. Well, they're the two sleep together. But they lure, Trickster to this place, and Flash takes them on, and they eventually defeat him. Her and Barry get a relationship, but at the end, she leaves to go to San Francisco, ending their relationship. Yeah. But it was a good episode, and Mark Hamill was great as the Trickster. He did a fantastic job. He's so over the top, he does it well. It's just like seeing his inner future as the Joker, in this role. Yeah. And then the next favorite one is called Be My Baby. This is a very cute episode where, of course, it's about a baby with this mom who Barry comes across, gives her a pretzel or whatever, be nice to her, but found out she's in trouble. Her name is Stacy. Barry lets her live with her, takes her to the shelter where his mom owns. You also have Bryan Cranston in this episode, who's been in a lot of movies, and some shows like, of course, Malcolm in the Middle. He's in here. He plays a guy named Philip Moses, who is a mobster. And he's trying to, because his young daughter, Lily, that's her name, very cute little girl. And, like moments Barry when he says, you at the baby. There's very cute moments. I like it though when he takes Stacy to his mom's shelter, for these babies and stuff, and Barry's watching them, but he's using a super speed just to, make them, babies are crying, so he's trying to use the super speed to make them laugh, and it works. Stacy eventually tells him who Moses is. She gets kidnapped, but eventually escapes. He does kidnap the child, kidnap Stacy. He's got this big bodyguard too, but Flash is after him now, making him basically run out of breath, puts him out of breath, because he's trying to punch Flash, and Flash uses super speed, knocks him out, and Flash ends up saving, the baby. Yeah. Oh yeah. I also like the moment where Lily's crying in the flat, and Barry and Tina are trying to get her to stop crying. That was funny. He originally released Central City. He's got these tickets, but Barry, puts baby diapers on him and his bodyguard's mouth, and Bryan Cranston's mouth, and they get arrested. Stacy and her daughter really are reunited, and she's like, Flash, and Barry's like, she said nothing, and then it ends up, but it was a very cute episode, and I like seeing Bryan Cranston come in here. He's a really good actor. Like I said, I love Malcolm in the Middle. I like Malcolm in the Middle. That's a funny show, and he's in that, and plenty of movies too. I know he was in Total Recall Remake, like, don't want to think about that, but, and Breaking Bad. Anyway. But Be My Baby, good episode. Alright, and then another favorite of mine is called Fast Forward. This is where you see Nicholas Pike. Pike, who I reviewed. When I reviewed the pilot, I did mention Nicholas Pike, who of course was an ex-police officer who murdered Barry's brother, Jay Allen. I mentioned all that in my review of the TV pilot for Flash, so definitely go watch that if you want to hear more of that. But Pike gets released from prison. This upsets Barry, who thinks that he needs to be in prison. Of course, he should be. He even comes up to Barry in a restaurant and says, "Oh, I'm sorry I killed your brother, Jay Allen. I'm sorry I killed Jay. Oh, and by the way, Jay, he suffered. He begged me not to take his life." And then, Barry loses it and punches him in public. And of course, because that gets suspended, doesn't get fired, and then just gets suspended from his job for doing that. And Pike has a plan to take over Central City and to kill the Flash for good, to rule the city basically, but get rid of the Flash first, who he wants to get revenge on, but who he doesn't know who's Barry. He's got this missile, and Barry, as the Flash goes to this park or whatever. Not park. Forget what the building was called. The building, but he goes to the building. The missile blows and Flash is running. It's locked onto him, and he runs so fast that he ends up running in. The Flash can run so fast he can run into the future. Excuse me. Instead of it transports Flash into 10 years. 10 years to the year 2001, where Pike is now taking over. He's like, since Flash is technically dead now, as you can say, and Barry sees a future without him, that, Julio's got like a big mustache now, long hair, more of a goatee, and it's like Barry, he knows he's the Flash. Lieutenant Garfield was retired. Barry's been missing for like 10, 11 years now, been missing, and he can't really put on his Flash anymore. Tina tried to talk to him out of it. It was 10 years ago, this conversation they're having, and she's like, Barry, don't do this, you're my friend, you shouldn't do this, but he didn't listen to her, and somehow she's like really angry and bitter at him, even slaps him at the face for what he's done, because he didn't want to talk to him anymore. And this future is so horrible. It's kind of like, Central City is Nazi land. And Pike is Hitler, basically. He's like king over them. Barry loses his powers, but he eventually regains his speed. Takes out, so does Flash though, but he doesn't really give up being the Flash though, but his friend Shepard convinces him to be the Flash again, and he does, and he fights off, Pike and takes him down, but, Pike is still king, so he runs back in, of course 10 years before, he runs back in time. But in order to do that, he's in this truck. He goes back to the time where he sees himself when the other 10-year past self or whatever, that person disappears, the Barry is now. Barry runs to the truck, finds out where the truck's at, even though he set the missile off. And he goes radio, so he goes in the truck, he says, alright, Flash takes control of it, ties up Pike, his lawyer and his henchman, and says, tell me, how'd you kill Jay Allen? Where's the murder weapon? Like, God sakes, we're gonna die, tell him! And Pike refuses the first part, like, alright, I threw it in here, and with Pike's confession, recorded confession that he got to confess, he gets rid of the missile, and I guess you say Pike goes to prison for life for murder, and he rekindles his relationship with Tina, But fast forward was a really good episode. It was good to see Pike again, a really good villain. Yeah. But a really good episode, in my opinion. One of the best. Alright, and another favorite of mine is called Deadly Nightshade. Of course, this is where you do have Desmond Powell, the Nightshade, come back, but this time, you have this guy who's Nightshade, but he calls himself the Deadly Nightshade. He's a vigilante who, was kidnapped or whatever, this heiress or whatever that's kidnapped, and there's some money for her. And instead of saving her, he's got this Deadly Nightshade. He wipes out the criminals. He doesn't just fight them and put them in handcuffs. He murders them. So he starts, he shoots them, he kills some bad guys down, he puts bullets in them. Yeah. 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 But he kind of copies the Deadly Nightshade. Copies Nightshade. But he's got with his mask and his cloak and dagger. And he's got these red eyes or whatever through his mask. And tries to send a message out. And the guy that plays Reporter, I forget him, Richard Joe Klein. I know the actor passed away this year. He was on Law and Order SVU. I forget to say his name, sorry. But, he tries to kill him, but Barry and, of course, Barry runs up to Desmond Powell as himself. You also have, this psychologist trying to figure that out. This is, Dennis Crosby, I think her name is. I'm not going to look it up, but, of course, she was Tasha Yar in Star Trek The Next Generation. She's in this episode, and, seeing her Barry have a relationship, they have arguments about the Flash. Of course, she doesn't, because she thinks that the Flash is crazy. Right in front of her and Barry, the Nightshade, in his car, kills a guy. He even goes after the dirty politicians or whatever, kills them. So, Nightshade decides to come out of retirement once again. He's decides to come out of retirement. Remember the guy that played the judge in Liar Liar starring Jim Carrey? Yeah, that's him playing the Nightshade. Desmond, gives Barry food and they have a talk, and I like it when they start to go over after these buildings are, and Nightshade's like, telling Flash, could you slow it down? I can't keep up with you. And he's just like, you share these rooms up, sure, pretty much. Before I did, but now I gotta run slowly again. But when the Daily Nightshade goes to kill Joe Klein, in the news studio, before he can do that, Flash saves them, but, Daily Nightshade starts shooting. Barry does get hit in the leg. Remember, Flash can heal up quickly, but he can still get shot. He's not like Superman, he can still get shot. And, Joe Flash is like, who are you? And he's like, get that thing in my face, like, let's see who you really are. Before Joe Klein could, unmask Flash right in front of the whole world. Nightshade shows up real quick and shoots him in the door. It doesn't kill him, just passes him out. He'll wake up after an hour or so, Battle gets kidnapped, but you find out it's this guy who was a doctor named Curtis Bohan, who was some Derek Warner, who was a mobster fought by Nightshade, who fought by the Nightshade in the 1950s. And he wants the original Nightshade to team up with him, but of course Desmond refuses, and so he's going to try to kill him, but him and Barry eventually take the guy out. Well, not kill him, but just go to jail. Powell then reveals his identity to his secret to the entire world, and he becomes famous out of it. And Barry and the Doctor, Tashiar from Star Trek Next Generation, they start dating. But a really good episode, really interesting to see, but a hero shouldn't kill. That's basically what it means, that they have no right to take the law into their own hands. Yeah. But this was a great episode in my opinion, definitely one of the best. Yeah. Another favorite of mine is called Captain Cold. Who, of course, is an enemy of the Flash. He's not like Mr. Freeze. His body looks like ice. Yeah. He's, of course, in the 2014 show. CW show. But anyway, Mobster Jimmy Swain employs a hitman, and he's played by Jeffrey Combs. You guys should remember he did Reanimator, but I basically know him from two other movies, that is The Frighteners and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which was a sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. But anyway, and here he wants to take out, don't know you. Somebody's trying to call me that, I don't know him. But anyway, Captain Cold, of course, the guy who has a cold gun. I mean, it looks like ice pretty much. This is before you had Mr. Freeze too, way before the anime series, way before, almost Mr. Freeze. He can say a little about ice cleanse, but Captain Cold is very serious. He's a hitman for hire. Leonard Winters, it could be Leonard Sharp right here, so Leonard Winters. But he also has like a snow globe that can freeze you. But these mobsters, they're wanting to take Jimmy Swain out and kill him. But Captain Cold shows up saying that he's like going to turn the heat down for the guys, he's like, but instead they get frozen. Barry and them see this, and the cops see this, and and then Jimmy asks Captain Cold to take out the Flash. He's like, once I finish the job, I finish it always, no matter what. But his investigation gets ruined by Terry Cronenberg, who was a tabloid reporter. She was okay. She was a bit of an annoying character. But Flash tries to go up against Captain Cold himself. But, Cold is able to, shoot the ground real quick, slip him up, freezes Flash's legs, and the Flash gets cold nearly from fighting him nearly. Yeah. It's hard to fight the cold, isn't it? No, then Jimmy Swain, fires him. He's like, well, here's a gift. I'll leave it for all my customers. And then he freezes, steals his money, takes some stuff. He's like, I always finish the job, no matter what, and nobody fires me. So he says to brightly go after the Flash. Tries to go after the Cronenberg lady, she even pretends to be being frozen, and she tries to, handcuff Flash. Flash is able to get away, get the handcuffs off, but Captain Cold freezes him. But thanks to, Tina sneaking in a Starlet's truck, is able to sneak him away and unfreeze him. Yeah. She makes him like a heat sensor belt or whatever that can protect him from getting cold. Winter gets, arrested and goes to prison, but Captain Cold escapes, by throwing some ice weapons, freezing some cops. But Barry, but Flash ends up outsmarting him. He does, do the ice thing to him, but he's able to grab like a mirror, and as Captain Cold shoots his freeze gun, he picks it up, and then it goes back to him, reverts, and he said Captain Cool gets put on ice. Yeah, but Captain Cool is definitely, I think one of Flash's better villains because he can shoot a gun fast, and he's pretty much a threat to him. Yeah. Because the Cold can slow Flash down. Yeah. But that was Captain Cold. Great episode in my opinion. Really enjoyed that one. And then another favorite of mine is called Twin Streaks. You have this doctor who clones the Flash, Dr. Jason Brosel, and the guy that's his partner. They, two scientists trying to, make money or whatever, make a fortune out of it. They try this one test subject that dies. So they want, of course, to clone the Flash. So they set up this, like there's a bomb at the bank. This little close-up goes up to the Flash. Flash touches it and it cuts it. It's like ah. And Dr. Jason and Dr. Brazil, is able to, get a blood DNA sample. And that creates a clone of the Flash named Pollux. Pollux is like a grown man but in a child's body. Well, he's a child but he's in a grown man's body. He's learning how to read real fast, how to build, set up stuff. He even wonders who he is. He's like, who am I? He goes to Brazil, he's like, who am I? He's like, you are an experiment. And the guy that plays in here, the Dr. Jason Brazil, he was in Home Alone 3. Played one of the villains in that movie. But he's like, you're an experiment. That's it. You're nothing. That's what you are. Nothing. And Pollux wants to go out. They give him a suit, kind of like the Flash, but it's blue. And Pollux just wants to go out. They won't let him. So he goes out anyway. He tries to have fun with his children. But he's like, can I play? But he's too rough and, nearly hurts Barry. He's like, fine, let's play. He wants to play around with he's like, oh. And then he gets shot down or Dr. Brazil and his partner knock him out, but he wants to go out again. He's like, you're not going to stop me from going out. And he kills one of the guys by accident. I guess you'd say anger. Pollux escapes. Tries to see if he can fall away. He starts to fall for Tina. And also Barry is suffering a little bit of stress. He's just been a lot of stress lately. He argues with his boss. Almost gets into a big argument with Lieutenant Garfield, but thankfully they have to calm him down before he loses his job almost. But Pollux, it is, like I said, it's the 90s, so it's a bit corny or cheesy a little bit, but fun. He dresses up like a sailor. The Pollux does, and I thought it was funny. Just so ridiculous, but it's funny. Even Pollux gets, who do you think is Barry, gets mad and grabs Garfield's hand. It's about to hurt him. Like, calm down, Barry. He's like, I don't like somebody yelling at me. But Pollux just the dog goes to Barry's apartment. He's like, my apartment. I'm Barry Allen. I'm Barry Allen. I'm Barry Allen. That's what he says. Dr. Brazil is about to leave, and he's like, Pollux, I was going to take you with me. We can go. He just tries to shoot him. But Pollux travels real fast, gets the bullet, goes back at him. He's like, Pollux, stop this. Pollux is like, I want to be a person. I want to be somebody. I want to go find out who I am. Don't you understand? He's like, but you don't know how to control these powers. You will, and I will in time. And he's like, and Pollux stands up and says, I'm leaving. And then Flash says, then I have to stop you. He's like, Pollux is like, I understand. They run, and you see them just fight a little bit. And before Pollux can, take Flash, almost ready to take Flash down, or, Tina goes, Barry, because Brazil gets a gun, gets it still up, tries to, shoot Pollux, shoot Flash, but Pollux jumps in the way, and then, Barry knocks Brazil out, and Pollux sadly dies, and that was a sad moment. He's like, I'm sorry, brother, passes out. It was sad seeing Pollux die. an innocent character who was like a child, a clone, and as a child in a way, who didn't understand right from wrong. You know. But he did save Barry's life. So, but it was a good episode. I did enjoy Twin Streaks. Yeah. John Wesley Shipp, of course, plays a double role, and he does a fantastic job. So, yeah. Alright. The another favorite of mine is called Done with Mirrors. This is where you have Sam Scudder, known as the Mirror Master. He uses mirrors and holograms to connect his crimes. And this girl, this is a girl, that lady that went to school with Barry. She betrays him, steals this item from him, so he shows to like track her down in Central City. Meanwhile, okay, Anastasia. She seduces Barry into helping her. Barry, of course, falls for her because she's a very attractive woman. She even, she has a kiss with Barry at first. But in this episode, you have Tina's mother who comes to visit her, but her mother's so busy she doesn't have time for her. And her mother have a complicated relationship, which, okay, I didn't really care about her and her mother's relationship. That's the only thing I didn't care about in this episode. But Mirror Master, Sam tries to steal something out of Star Labs, so he pulls these holograms like the firemen and, a mime. Yeah. But Mirror Master can't ask Barry and Tina's mother. Barry can't use his power, so he turns up the lights. He's able to get like about like a pen off of his shirt and spit into the light and uses his powers to go like, oh, what's happening? I don't know. And then uses abilities and gets out real fast. Then makes up some excuse for it, but he can't show Tina's mother his abilities. And I do like the moment where she asks, Anastasia asks Barry for help, that she's been with this guy, but you find out she's been lying to him. She's trying to steal this device for herself, so she's playing Barry. But anyway, Barry goes undercover, as Professor Zoom. Like this corny, but he's got his hair beefed up, these sunglasses, this jacket. And he's like, I'm Professor Zoom, no? Trust me? Do you? Do you trust me? But eventually, they get caught, It's even hard for Flash to go up against Mirror Master because of, reflections and stuff. But of course he's able to defeat, Sam, take him down. Flash knocks him out. Yeah. Stacy's trying to get away with like a friend of hers or whatever. He's like, Barry, we could have been together. It's like, no, Stacia, maybe sometime, but not today. And the Barry starts to love, she gets arrested, so does Mirror Master himself get put in jail. But anyway, good episode of my opinion. Yeah. Alright, and then another favorite of mine is called Goodnight Central City. You have this pretty crook named Harry Mowgli and his cousin. Well, first of all, Harry has a heart attack. It's like a crook, but he has a heart. But while in Murphy and Bill's custody, he passes out, has a heart attack, and then he's dead. But he was actually playing dead. Him and his cousin, scientist Roger Braintree, plan to use a sound wave device that's developed by Braintree, which his cousin is a scientist, to put the city into slumber. Barry went to school with this guy's cousin. Tries to talk to him about his cousin. Like Harry's hiding in a coffin. And so first thing they do is put on these masks and put the sound wave in a bank, and everybody goes to sleep. They rob it. Barry, as the Flash, should stop them, but the sound affects him too, and he just, passes out. And then Harry 4 of them money, we need more of this fast, we need more help, so he goes to this mobster. And his bodyguard, I think he's Finn Thorson, I can't say his name right. But this guy, the big guy, the big bodyguard they got here in this episode, he's in another episode of Flash, but he was with he was in some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, including Conan the Barbarian, The Running Man. Yeah. But these gangsters, put this seriously if they start robbing the banks, robbing jewelry. But sooner or later they found this device is really dangerous. So Roger wants to, shut it down. But Heavy's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And then by accident he kills his cousin, shoots him by accident. I was like, no, I'm in charge now. So they take the device. And by using his cousin's, papers, he's able to use more of the device to put the city in slumber. He's like, oh, you robbed the city blind, They try to, Barry even passes it out. So Tina has to get him the note to turn the device off. She has these earpieces, which can, but she puts it on Barry, waking him up. He feels a flash, takes these guys out. Harry won't listen. He's like, we're going to stop this right now. This is too dangerous. So he shoots the game. He's like, I'm in charge now. And they're about to kill Harry, but Flash shows up, takes him out, including Harry himself. And even Barry in this episode gets in trouble by this guy, what do you call it? Well, anyway, Barry gets blamed for this robbery by this guy who's investigating cops, and he internal affairs, and he tries to set Barry up, put Barry in prison, but he escapes, trying to say that he's, they even try to set him up good, but Harry's like, no, I'm not here to help me, I do it my own. He ends up going to jail at the end. And the internal affairs agent guy, he's really humiliated about it. But great episode in my opinion. Good night, Central City. Alright guys. And then Alpha. Another favorite episode I might call Alpha. But Alpha, who was... You find out that she's an Android assassin, but she didn't want to kill anybody. So she escapes. Gets out of there. She works for Starlight for a while. Barry's like interested in her. They have a date night. They go for a dance. And Senior Dance uses power to school, but then when Alpha sees these men after her, Flash interviews like Flash to have his personal business, and Flash knocks him out. She gets shot. She goes to a small-time crook played by Dick Miller, who's been in a few episodes, who has helped Barry with information throughout the episodes. In this episode, he becomes like friends with Alpha, teaches her to play poker, and she can see through the cards. He tries to use that to try to shoot these guys out. And Finn Thorson, once again, in this episode, he plays a machine, kind of like a Terminator, for instance, almost. It had to be inspired by the Terminator. The character he plays in this, he's like a Russian Terminator, but a Russian Andrew's like, Alpha, come, Omega, come with me now. The Flash destroys Omega, who tries to take out Flash. This is what really strong him. Just knock Flash out nearly, and Flash, electrocutes him, and you see his head just pull off. Very good practical effect for 1990. Creepy looking, but very, very, very good effects, for 1990. Alpha can also defend herself. She's also had this bomb inside her that if they can't get her back, they're going to blow her up. They nearly do it, but Barry runs from it. They run out of time, and she gets saved. And then she said the government gets in big trouble for this, but she gets her freedom, and her and Dick Miller go to hang out. He tries to, like Dick Miller, they try to go to Las Vegas, but she just enjoyed her life, as you can say. But really interesting episode, good episode in my opinion. Yeah. I'm not done yet. But that was Alpha. Okay. Just a couple more, guys. Just a couple more. Couple more. Yeah, I'll be done. So close to being done here. But anyway, this is the last episode of the series, and that is The Trial of the Trickster. Again, Mark Hamill coming back, where Jesse James, is brought to trial for his previous crimes against Megan and the Flash and the city itself. And then he has this woman who's obsessed with him. She wants to become Frank. Kind of like his Harley Quinn, for instance. She sends Jesse these letters, and he's able to escape from prison. They pull up this laughing gas, and they're able to escape. Jesse escapes for the courtroom. Zoe Clark, who becomes Frank, tells her about her crimes and how much she's in love with him, and he ultimately falls for it. He becomes a trickster once again. They end up shocking the Flash and brainwashing him, and he gets Flash to team up with him. Flash tries to chase him, but he puts like Big Elm on the road and Flash gets knocked out. And they put him on this machine. He tells Frank, don't take off his mask. It's part of who he is. And once again, he can just do the crazy thing well. But him and Flash go have a fun time. They drive to see crazy. He's got like the trickster motorcycle or whatever. They're shooting guns in the city, driving crazy. Flash is throwing stuff at cops, throwing stuff at people, and Murphy's car is throwing things and causing damage. Central City, welcome to Tricksterville. They make fun of Frank. They even tie up a Trey River, prank Megan, and team up, try to take him on. They take him on, just to help her. They tell Frank, tells him where they're at. Then Flash helps Trickster put, grabs the judge and this little waitress, put them on trial to execute them. And he almost gives campus. He's like, Flash, no, Flash, wait, no, you're not a killer, you're not a killer. You don't know where. He's like, yes, you are. He's like, what's wrong? I knew it was some time. But eventually, he gets stopped, and Trickster runs out, and he sees this Trickster escape mobile, which Frank is driving. He's like, oh, I'll go do anything for you. I'm devoted to you. He's like, well, devoted girl, when he pushes her out. But Flash chases him down. They play with this bomb, But to the last moment, Flash takes Trickster out, and Trickster's in the second where he's like, I might escape, but I'll get out once again. Barry goes out an offer to move to San Francisco with Megan, because he's not ready to say goodbye to Central City. That's his city, his home, his family, his friends are there, and he's the hero there. And like the end of the series, I should say it is the end of the series, where Flash runs past the sign saying, "Welcome to Central City, home of the Flash." But really fun episode. His moments in here, which Mark Hamill went great once again. As you can tell, his inner Joker is in there. You can see his inner future as playing the Joker will come from. Mark Hamill, I don't know what was his inspiration for playing the Joker, but I'm sure DC wanted to pick him after seeing this show. They had to, at least. One of those producers of Batman the Animated Series, they had to have seen this show and to know Mark's performance. Unless he just wanted to play the Joker, but this was definitely, he continued to work with DC for him. But anyway, it was great, But I'm not done yet. Now I have my okay episodes. Don't worry, guys, it's not that much. Just a few. Won't be long. It's just a few episodes in here. We're almost done. I know we're 1 hour and 4 minutes in. Sorry. But the first okay episode, and these episodes I didn't hate, I just thought they were okay at best. Alright, first one is Out of Control. This is where these homeless people are getting murdered. This guy's walking around like in a coat and a coat and a hat, drugging them, and they look diseased or whatever. They disappear. They're trying to investigate. Even a father is trying to tell them about these homeless people missing, but the cops can't do nothing because they're swamped. They're very, very busy, so they don't really have time for this. Even one of them, they wanted the cops to listen, so they pull a gun out, but Barry uses super speed real quick and gets away from them. And, Tina rekindles with an old friend who was also friends with her late husband, and that is the guy named Dr. Carl Tanner, who Barry, doesn't like his speech at first, or him and Barry don't get along, but he wants to hurt back up with Tina. But I do like it when Barry's at this party, and he tries to steal the food with these old doors. He uses super speed to eat it up real fast. That was funny. Barry investigates and finds out he puts Barry in this trap in this window with a homeless man that Barry helped get a job being a security guard. Traps him in this door or whatever, and Barry has to use his power to get out. But eventually he injects himself with his serum because he sees homeless people as just worthless. So he turns himself to kind of like the Hulk, for instance. So he turns himself to a monster, which is bizarre. Fights. Barry can't really take him home, so Barry fights him a little bit, but Barry eventually, probably has to fence him down a little bit and put the guy in jail. It was an okay episode with Tanner. I think it was an interesting villain. Honestly, he reminded me of a landlord I used to have, when I lived in an older house a long time. Older house. When I lived on another part of Georgia, when I lived in Bethlehem, Georgia. Reminds me of my old landlord, which I'm not going to say his name. But this episode I just wasn't really into. Yeah, you can say it's wrong, he's doing the homeless people stuff, but the whole thing with him being a monster is bizarre. And I just didn't find the episode that interesting. I thought it was a little boring at times. But just really wasn't for me. Yeah. And another okay episode is called Double Vision. And here you have a bit of black magic in this episode, where this guy gets in trouble with Flash, and Flash starts committing these crimes, even though he doesn't know he's doing it because he's being under control. And then this guy gets brainwashed into murdering. This girl is brainwashed into murdering her father. There's a Barry, then defeat him. Barry, takes the guy on. Flash defeats him. But this episode I thought was alright. It was a bit about magic in there, and I wasn't into all that, but that's just me. But this episode I just thought was alright. Yeah. But that's Double Vision. Yeah. And then another episode called Child's Play that I thought was alright. And here you have these two kids. That is Terry, played by the late Jonathan Brandis, who I remember, but I know he's in Sidekicks. Never seen that with Chuck Norris. Sidekicks with Chuck Norris. He was also in Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield. I know he passed away at a young age. And you have a little girl in here named Corey. She is the little girl from RoboCop 3. This kid ends up stealing this snack of a recently murdered journalist, Philip Sullivan. And it's a drug that he kidnaps this guy who they thought was dead, but he sprays drugs on people. He sprays the Flash. That episode, Flash tries to even help the guy, help these kids out. I like it when he's walking his dog, though. The best part of the episode is when he's walking his dog across the movie theater. Then you see the posters for Superman the movie and Tim Burton's Batman. That was awesome. Yeah. And the kid, Terry says that he wants to run away. So he's going to make a deal with this guy, but he gets killed, so Flash shows up. And, like I say, he sprays Flash with a drug, but Flash is able to overcome it and gets the guitar, so Flash starts rocking it. Yeah, it's cheesy, but it's the 90s. It's corny. I'm like, okay, not really seeing, but hey, it was still funny, Terry and Crow get adopted by Sullivan's widow, Joan. They want to leave at first, but like, okay, we'll stay with you. And they all laugh at the end. But Charlotte Play was just okay. Just a weird bad guy. I'm like, the villain was just weird, and the kids were alright in this one. And one more episode that was okay, I thought, but I wasn't a big fan of, is Tina. Is that you? Turn my light on here. Sorry. This is where Barry becomes plagued with these nightmares where, you can tell there's really something between him and Tina, that more than a friendship. She even, that he kisses her, they share a kiss. Goes to this bad guy, and then it's like Tina's like, Barry, you disgust me, or something like that. He tries to connect these dreams to her, but through comic book certain ways, though, this machine they used turns her bad. She has an attitude with her nurse. She even slaps her nurse in the face. And these three ladies, they become a duo, because one lady, tries to run over the Flash, but she gets killed. So Tina, her bad size, with her bad self, and decides to take over and has her, weird hair there. So she goes bad, she has to take the Flash out. She has this gun that can stop Barry, but I don't like Tina in this episode because I thought she was mean-hearted, and they make her villain I didn't like. I just didn't find it interesting. It was just mean-spirited, I think, a little bit for me. But Tina also, goes to a very blind date. When he was blind date, his woman, she does like. But Tina ruins it by showing up and kissing him and saying, "Oh, hey, honey, I didn't know you had company over." And she does these mean things. She apologizes, of course, when she goes back to being herself. He was sort of normal, but I just didn't like this episode very much. Tina being like that, I'm like, no, I just didn't care for it. That's just me. But anyway, guys, that is my thoughts on favorite episodes of The Flash 1990. Now, to think about, final opinion on that, I do enjoy the show. This is a good show, despite some issues, like I said. Some of these episodes I want the okay ones, I want big one, but there's a lot of great episodes in here. A lot of good ones, a lot of good storyline. There's some good storylines in here. Good acting. John Wesley Shipp is a great Flash. And I like the guest stars as well. Amanda Pays is great. Alex Desert as Julie Mendez is great. Richard Belzer, I think. Oh yeah, he passed away in February. He passed away this year. But good actor. He's good in here. But a really good cast in here. A lot of really good episodes. Sometimes, there's things that can be a little outdated. I forget to mention that Tina that is that episode, is that you episode. There's one scene where Barry's like waiting for her to get out of the hospital when he tears up the carpet by using super speed and, goes to a snack bar, a snack machine, and grabs a whole bunch of snacks, And then, the doctor sees it and like, Jesus, people, are we running a hospital or daycare here, because it was such a mess. But I like the guest stars. Really good storylines in this. You know, some great episodes in here. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I did have a lot of great episodes and I had okay ones. Yeah. Yeah, Mark Hamill, like I said, he's great in here. I think he nearly steals the show in this. In here, Emmett Walsh is, you know, good actor. The late Dick Miller, as far as night, great. Jeffrey Combs, great. Dennis Crosby, yeah, from Star Trek, she's great in here. Yeah. But, you know, I can't complain. A really good cast in here, so I'm not complaining. Good cast in here, a really good underrated show in my opinion. Loved it. Final rating for the show itself, I'm going to give 4 to 5 stars when it comes up. You know, some of the effects can be a bit dated, or especially some fight scenes with the flash. Sometimes in the episodes, the suit can look, you know, pretty bland at times, like in the daylight, but, you know, but it's still good nonetheless. It's still a very entertaining show. I still like the suit, I like the mask, I think it's cool. And it's a very entertaining show. Yeah, it does have its corny moments, but it has really good episodes, though. You know, it's sad that the show didn't last, but I think it deserved. Personally, I'd rather see 9 seasons of this than or 5 seasons at least. Or, you know, it could have had a couple more seasons. Yeah, it should have been more seasons, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's just it for this series. It's sad though, but I guess, you know, CBS didn't, you know, air it much at the time, and I guess the show just didn't really, you know, hit off as big as they thought it would. But despite that, though, really underrated show. Really enjoyed the Flash 1990 TV series, starring Joseph John with the Ship and Amanda Pays. So I highly recommend it. If you're a big fan of DC, you love the Flash character, and you're definitely looking forward to the movie coming out, definitely check out this show. I highly recommend it. So it's a good show. Not completely perfect, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. So yeah. So that's my thoughts, favorite episodes of the Flash 1990 TV series. Tell me, guys, what do you think of the Flash 1990 TV series? And what are your favorite episodes of this series? Let me know in the comments down below. What are your favorite episodes of this series? And stay tuned, guys, because I'm going to do Pinterest 54 video probably tomorrow. If I get time, maybe today. If I get some time, maybe. You know? But, hopefully next after this I will be talking about doing a TV show collection, Part 31, for The Flash, starring Grant Gustin. So, yeah, that'll be the next Flash show to talk about. And I'll be talking about 5 seasons. So, yeah, this show will be next. So, I'm not going to show all the seasons right now, but this will be the thumbnail for that video. So stay tuned for this. I'm thinking maybe this weekend or next weekend. This weekend I might have plans with family. I don't know yet. But anyway, guys, just stay tuned for that in the Pinterest 54 video. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. You might not see me in a while, but guys, you'll see me in a flash. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.